6 million years ago, long before cities, before fire, before even Homo sapiens, the African landscape teemed with danger and opportunity. This was the dawn of our kind, and among the earliest survivors were the single females of the species. The savanna stretched endlessly, a sea of golden grass swaying in the warm breeze. The air buzzed with the constant hum of cicadas, punctuated by the occasional rustle of movement in the tall grass. In the distance, the guttural calls of early primates echoed across the plains. This was the world of our ancient ancestors, a world both beautiful and perilous. In this primordial landscape we find her, a lone female hominin, small in stature, but possessing a fierce will to survive. She belongs to a species that would one day give rise to modern humans, but for now, she is simply struggling to make it through each day. Without a mate or children, her path was uncertain. Yet her knowledge, agility, and resilience gave her a unique role in the survival of the group. Every dawn brought new challenges for this solitary female. Her day began with the search for sustenance, a constant battle against hunger. With nimble fingers and keen eyes, she scoured the ground for edible roots, cracked open tough nuts with primitive stone tools, and plucked ripe fruits from low-hanging branches. Insects, rich in protein, were a prized find, quickly snatched up and devoured. But food was only part of the equation. Water, the essence of life, often proved even more elusive and dangerous to obtain. Rivers and watering holes were fraught with peril, attracting predators and larger, more aggressive animals. Our ancestor approached these vital sources with extreme caution, always alert, always ready to flee at a moment's notice. For, in this world, danger lurked around every corner. Big cats, with razor-sharp teeth and claws, stalked the grasslands. Venomous snakes lay hidden, waiting to strike. Even the skies held threats, with massive birds of prey circling overhead, their sharp eyes scanning for vulnerable prey below. Every day was a test. To find food was to live another day. To misstep was to vanish, forgotten in the tall grass. Yet, despite these constant threats, our lone female was not entirely alone. Over time, she formed alliances with other single females, recognizing the strength that came from numbers. Together, they watched each other's backs, shared food discoveries, and created a support system that increased their chances of survival. Alone, but never entirely isolated. Bonds between females meant strength. Together, they safeguarded knowledge, and in time, helped the species endure. These small bands of women became repositories of crucial information. They remembered which plants were safe to eat and which were poisonous. They knew the patterns of animal migrations and the subtle signs that heralded changing seasons. When they eventually joined larger family groups, they brought with them this wealth of knowledge, passing it on to the next generation and ensuring the survival of their genes. It was not brute strength alone that carried our ancestors forward. It was memory, intelligence, and the will to adapt. Traits carried by these women, their keen awareness of their environment, laid the foundation for what would eventually become human culture. They were the first to recognize patterns in nature, to develop rudimentary tools, and to create social bonds beyond immediate family units. The role of these single females in the larger evolutionary picture cannot be overstated. By surviving on their own, they preserved genetic diversity within the species. Their mobility allowed them to move between groups, choosing mates from different populations and thus preventing inbreeding. This genetic mixing was crucial for the long-term health and adaptability of the species. Moreover, the skills they developed in order to survive alone, heightened awareness, problem-solving abilities, and social intelligence became invaluable traits that were passed down through generations. These cognitive advancements would eventually lead to the complex brains and social structures that define modern humans. As the sun sets on our ancient ancestor, we see her silhouette against the orange sky, a small figure in a vast and wild world. She has survived another day, but tomorrow will bring new challenges. Yet, in her struggle, we see the seeds of humanity's future. Her resilience, her adaptability, and her intelligence are the very qualities that would, over millions of years, shape our species into what it is today. From the vantage point of the present, we can trace an unbroken line from these early female survivors to the women of today. The same spirit that drove our ancestor to crack open a tough nut or outsmart a predator now fuels scientific discoveries, artistic creations, and societal progress. The legacy of these ancient women lives on in every person alive today. As we reflect on the journey of our species, we are reminded that survival is never guaranteed. The path of evolution is long and fraught with obstacles. Yet time and again, it was the ingenuity, the cooperation, and the sheer determination of individuals, particularly these early single women, that ensured our lineage continued. 6 million years ago, survival was never promised. Yet, in the courage of single women who braved the wild, we glimpse the roots of our own humanity. Their struggle was not in vain, for in their footsteps, the future of mankind was written. As we look to the challenges of our own time, we would do well to remember the strength and resilience of our ancient foremothers, for in their story, we find inspiration for our own. The image fades from the lone female silhouette in the prehistoric grasslands to the bustling streets of a modern city. Here, women of all ages and backgrounds move with purpose, each carrying within them the indomitable spirit of their ancient ancestors. The journey continues, shaped by the courage and adaptability that has defined our species for 6 million years and counting.